Hey, what up, America? What up, world? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the number one urban podcast stateside and worldwide. Politics from the lens of the black perspective and really understanding what's going on in plain time. Now, today is March 15th, 2022, and it's Tuesday. Now, we need to understand what's going on with our Congressional Black Caucus and with their concerns of what's going on in the world today. Now, the Congressional Black Caucus, along with the Asian Caucus, along with other minority group caucuses, have been taking their initiatives to Biden directly, knowing that it's going on deaf ears because of what's going on in the world. And the two things that they have on the agenda is one is police reform, which Cory Booker and other senators have been in discussion from a bipartisan perspective. And Tim Scott is the other, and he's a Republican. And the other, voting rights. Now, police reform, I really get it. I understand that there's some legislation on the books that needs to be open. And I believe that we really need to have this conversation and really move the scope to that perspective, because while police reform is an issue, things are still happening the way that they used to happen, and things are still going on. And it looks like they're allowing them to get worse. So now they can actually throw the book at us again with some type of 94 type crime bill, 3 strikes and you're out type bills. This is why in Los Angeles, Karen Bass is the front runner for the mayor of Los Angeles, and Garcetti have moved on. And Karen Bass is a part of the establishment. She is a part of the establishment. So whatever they put on the books to basically stop this horrendous movement in terms of crime, this backwards mobility, and these situations that has put our youth in very compromising positions. Because not knowing if you would just give them some tens of thousands of dollars and some type of stimulus during the coronavirus, and then let them feel and let them taste and let them understand what's going on and see and touch and taste. And then now they're chasing that same high. This is why they're running in people's homes, because they was able to Airbnb and case the neighborhood. This is why they are trying to follow home robberies and trying to rob people of their watches, because they was able to see items and purchase items and see what they can actually do. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of the monies that was that the youngsters got, they didn't really invest that monies. They basically spent it just like we all did when we were young. But then they had to recruit some of those monies by selling some of the merchandise. I know some people have bought the high-end cars before they even took the paper plates off, because they had to bail them out. Some people, selling their jewelry. And then now they got the clothes to, and the bling bling and the shine, so they could be accepted in these areas. And then they're looking to basically follow somebody home or jack somebody, because robbers don't look like robbers. And it's kind of crazy how we all had masks on, hiding ourselves. But these guys look like, they can be in starting in a rap video and they pulling out a strap trying to rob you. I mean, with Gucci suits on and Gucci shoes and Versace this, and they jacking people. But this is why a Better Black America is basically putting itself in the spin cycle to actually try to wash and rinse the disgust and the mistrust and disinformation that's been plaguing our communities and on our narrative, to make sure we know what's best. Because we could look at each and every young boy under the age of 26 years old, or young man under the age of 26, and could see if that was our child, what would we want to do for them, or what opportunities should we create, or what does that individual need to put themselves in a position to be self-sufficient, to not rely on crime, to not rely on all the negative tools that will lead you in the penitentiary, in the prison system as a slave? This is why we have to have this conversation. So this is why we got to understand forming some form of shadow government. And a shadow government is just legislative body of people who can actually write bills that the people agree upon. And we have full access to those individuals because they are a part of what we're doing. So looking at the big picture and looking at our politics, voting rights, the voting rights, they were in the 64 rights, the Bill of Rights, in which I call the 1964 Bill of Rights, which was the civil rights, which was actually for everyone. Voting was there. Women can vote. Men can vote. What's the issue? Why is voting rights so much of an issue? Now, if you need, and it's required for you to have a valid ID, take this ride with me, for you to have a valid ID to buy weed from a dispensary. And we're talking about voting rights, proof of ID to have a drink, an ID and a vaccination card to still enter some establishments as we speak, as I speak, stateside, a passport to leave the country, valid and stamped, and that's at least the bare minimums. The bare minimum, you need a ID to vote. It's not making it harder to vote. It's making it harder to cheat. And this hit me like a brick when I saw VP Harris trying to finally explain what's really going on. And all she can say, and this is true, this is what y'all voted for. Literally, it's kind of like you get what you pay for type deal, with the little drip, you get what you pay for. Like, wow. So this is, and I'm on record. I like I said, I'm still a registered Democrat, but I'm nonpartisan independent. But to hear our vice president say this is what you voted for, then this is the phenomenon and the March surprise. And when I'm saying March surprise, I mean March surprise. There's surprises every month. This is a surprise. The vice president said we get what we vote, what we voted for. So if this is what we voted for, we're going to have to demand better moving forward. And it basically means that we have to be better. So no one could actually tell us ever again in life, vote for the lesser of the two evils. That don't exist. Because according to, popular demand or public, on the public courts, in the, the attention of what's going on, it's not a secret that the Biden administration and the Harris administration has failed America. And when I say failed America, I mean failed America. When you look at tyrants, when you look at the world of tyrants, global tyrants, there's a Netflix series like How to Be a Tyrant. And the number one thing for a tyrant, and they said it, as soon as the tyrant take office, the foundation is no longer stable. You feel it out the gate. Soon as the Biden administration came into office, they shut down the Keystone Pipeline and gas prices immediately went up. Gas prices was up 60% before Putin ever started driving military vehicles into Ukraine. And then President Biden says this is Putin's price hikes. This is what we voted for. Seriously. And we believe Vice President, Madam Vice President, that's who she is. We believe her. She was totally honest. So if this is what we voted for, then the reaction is this can't happen again. I'm dead serious. This cannot happen again. Because when the Vice President of the United States cannot defend what's going on, and they say the powerful people, the most powerful leaders are unseen. So which unseen leaders are calling the shots? And it looked like they're calling the shots from both sides. Now, the Ukraine-Russian war is a little deeper than I thought. And when you go and think about it and look at it on a daily basis and really understand it, I heard somebody call Zelensky last night a little Jewish man. And I was like, wow, Jewish man. I see a white man, but I understand. Hitler, ethnic cleansing. Okay, Israel, Palestine, they Jewish, but they're dark as shoe. Okay, so basically, yeah, they're doubling down on white supremacy. Zelensky is white. The Palestinians and Israelis, they're not considered white. They call them, the Ukrainian people are on record calling them sand niggers, and that they're going to have to figure out a way to get out of Ukraine because this is for white Ukrainians. That's what they were told, just like the Africans were told to walk. So the beneficiaries is whites. The winners is whites. So shall I say it this way? The winners is whites and losers is whites. But the ones that's going to really win is us. Because this is the distraction that we needed to basically run our operation when it comes to our sovereignty, nonpartisan independence. We cannot be a Republican or a Democrat, but we stand with America, with the Republic. We stand with the Republic, not the Republican Party, to the Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, a God-fearing nation. And we stand with America. We get what we voted for. The person that we voted for, apparently 85 million people voted for him. Even if you didn't vote, they casted a ballot for you. No, literally, you can't have Biden with 85 million votes and Donald Trump with 75 million votes. That's a 83.7% voter turnout when breaking Barack Obama's record of a 66% voter turnout. And the other highest was when Lyndon B. Johnson at 62, 63%. And that's when we had just got the right to vote. So this is so clear that the two highways, the left and the right, two rights make a left and two lefts make a right. It's pretty much continue to cipher. So we have to get out of the cipher and stop repeating a cycle that's not effective, not only for us, but all humanity. Look where all the attention is. Look where all the resources is going. It seems like we're not even thought about anymore. George Floyd's gone. Our presidential election, was done. I don't want to say stolen or anything like that, because if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I totally understand the politics, because we got what we voted for, and there was some laws and legislation put into place under the pandemic that loosened up voting, and now they're all repealing it back. So all we're saying is, if you have to have an ID to enter or to purchase marijuana from a dispensary, you have to have an